Welcome to Undisputed Live from Los Angeles. I'm Joy Taylor, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Joy. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, you got on the South Beach colors today, huh?
I thought it was more like Easter colors, but yeah, sure.
Okay. Happy Easter, Joy.
I'm East Beach clean myself, Skip.
You can see clearly.
Yeah.
You got a good sermon prepared for the people on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll see old Brian gearing up for a triple-double. He'll shoot around right now.
Speaking sharp.
You can see 2020, and he'll have 2020 in his next game.
No. You have a nice little triple-double, though. Something like 28, 13, 12.
He can pile those stats up.
Don't do that, Skip.
Nobody ever.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't. Oh.
How are you, Shannon? Here we go.
I was good until you started hating this morning early.
Let's talk your game. Let's talk a little NFL.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start with the Patriots. There's still a lot of drama in New England. The Boston Sports Journal says Bill Belichick could consider trading Rob Gronkowski if Gronk continues to be non-committable about playing next season. Then there's the quarterback situation. Right now, Brian Hoyer is the Patriots' backup after they traded away Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett last season. And Tom Brady will be 41 this summer. Yesterday, Robert Kraft was asked about possibly taking a quarterback in next month's draft. Take a listen.
I'm going to put my fan hat on and, obviously at some point we have to, because not just that, but you think about it. Think what happened in the 08 season when in the first quarter against Kansas City, Tom goes out. And how many people would have said that Matt Castle would have led us to an 11-5 season? So once again, I put my faith and confidence in Bill, and he knows his responsibilities, and anything can happen, even if Tom comes in tip-top shape.
Shannon, what do you make of this?
Whoa, wait a minute. Did Mr. Kraft just say he put his faith and confidence in Bill?
What?
After you forced the Hold on. we gonna get to that later, Skip. But I thought Tommy, that's what he called him, Mr. Kraft called him. I thought Tommy was going to play another 5 to 7 years. And I believe what Tommy tells me. Because he was talking about, Tommy said he's going to play another 6, 7 years. Mr. Kraft.
I think it was 4 to 5.
Okay,
Go ahead.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means they shouldn't even be thinking about a quarterback until Tommy gets 43. Because he's 41, be 41 in August. So that's another 3 years away.
That's true. That is true.
With that being said, everybody talking about Tom Brady was going to play until his mid-40s, except one guy, and that was the guy that was coaching the team. What has happened with Mr. Kraft is that he's allowed himself to get too close to Tom, and it's clouded his judgment, because what Coach Belichick's been able to do is that he's always kept that buffer up. I'm coach, you're player. There's going to come a time that I'm going to have to release you, or I'm going to trade you, or we're going to allow you to move on via free agency. But Mr. Kraft got into his feelings, and he got real close to Tommy, and that's clouded his judgment. Now, if they select a quarterback, it's going to be what I'm watching for. How early do they select him? They get one in the first or second round. I mean, no, not the first, but the second or third round. I'm like, okay, they're going to. This is the guy that they're grooming. They take a guy in the 6th round, Skip. I'm not. That's nothing to me. Coach Belichick is like, wait a minute. What do you mean we need to draft one? We drafted one 3 years ago. And
quick point of order. Once upon a time, Tom Brady was a
6th round
pick. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to find that diamond in the rough.
You go belly up looking for 6th round pick quarterbacks that
go ahead.
lead you to the Super Bowl. Coach Belichick is like, hold on. You got the trust and confidence in me now. And I had the guy. You say you trust me. I had the guy that was going to be the bridge. He was one Jimmy Garoppolo. But you got into your feelings, and you let Tom Brady FaceTime you and talk you into keeping him. We had the guy that was going to take us to more Super Bowl. So don't talk to me. Don't mention my name when you're in your press conference either. Talking about you trust. I got confidence and trust in Bill. Coach Belichick said, stop it.
Well, now, wait a second. Where are you heading with that? Think about what you just said. Clearly, we both agreed with the ESPN report that at the trade deadline, Robert Kraft stepped in and ordered his head coach to trade Jimmy Garoppolo.
That is correct.
We also think that Jimmy Garoppolo got given to the San Francisco 49ers for a mere second-round pick, and then he put on a 5-game show at the end of the year for the 49ers.
And got paid handsomely.
And he got paid really, really handsomely, and you could argue that he'll earn that money. But we both agreed that for the first time ever, Bill Belichick got his wrist slapped, basically, by the owner who said, nope, I side with the quarterback.
Right.
Bill, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Trade him.
Right.
It was a mandate. For the first time, he got ordered to do something in the football context that he's never, ever been questioned in.
That is correct.
Okay, so what just happened right here? This, to me, I'm with you up to a point, but then I'm going to interpret it differently. This feels like this was a concession to Belichick.
Yeah.
Like this was to placate the head coach to say, hey, you were right. Now we need to start fresh and go find our next Jimmy G. Right?
Yes, I agree. But Coach Belichick is like, do you realize? You remember the other day he said he remembered, Mr. Kraft said he remembers sitting in the stands in New England and them not making the playoffs. Coach Belichick says if you want to assure yourself of missing the playoff or being mediocre for years to come, don't have that guy.
Okay. So, to me, I was stunned that Robert Kraft would let these words tumble out of his mouth. I'm going to put my your fan hat on. When has he ever done that before? Yes. When has he ever spoken like this? Again, we agree that Rome is teetering, if not starting to fall.
Correct.
And to me, Robert Kraft was choking yesterday in front of the media because it's been a long time since he got put under the gun in the postseason because they fell apart defensively in the Super Bowl, and he keeps talking about what a devastating loss it was, and they're still trying to climb out from under the feeling of the collapse of the defense. So now he says, I'm going to put my fan hat on, and we need to draft a quarterback because then he harks back to 2008, and he dares the devil. These are the kind of things you don't speak into existence. You don't even bring them up. Why would he refer back to the one big injury of Tom Brady's career? What good does it do to say it publicly? Help me out here.
None.
None. It's no good because to even bring it up is to threaten Tom with the thought in the back of his mind of, oh, once upon a time, remember that in the first game of the year, you got your knee torn up and missed the whole year, and it was great that we had a Matt Castle who stepped in and led us to 11-5. Well, listen, you can say what you want about Brian Hoyer, but he's not bad. I mean, I think he's right in the same category with Matt Castle.
Right.
Like he's right in there. I've seen him play some really good games for the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
I saw him one Thursday night at Cincinnati when the Bengals were riding high, and he put on a pretty nice show there. He's capable of doing, maybe not quite Matt Castle, but he's pretty good. So you're just talking about a backup quarterback. What does that have to do with drafting a kid quarterback? Because if you draft a kid in the third round, do you think he can step in and do what Matt Castle did in 2008? There's no way.
No.
So why would you even bring this up unless you're trying to concede to the head coach? Are you trying to say you were right about Jimmy G? Are you trying to admit publicly that you were wrong? Or are you trying to placate him to the point that he won't leave, like has Belichick threatened to leave, and now he wants to say something publicly nice about Belichick, like he's handing him his power back? Is he saying, I screwed up, now I give it all, the whole football operation is back to you? Because he says, and I put all my faith and trust and confidence in Bill Belichick. Well, he didn't at the trade deadline, right?
And for the very first time, because up until that point, Skip, we have no reason to believe that Coach Belichick didn't have total autonomy and he wheeled and dealed as he saw fit. I like this player, I'm going to select him. I want this free agent, we're going to get him. We want to trade or release this player, that's what we're going to do. I believe, you believe also, this was the very first time that Mr. Kraft intervened and said, Bill, you will do this.
Yeah, it looks like he just re-intervened and went back on Belichick's side because the last time...
So he'll get Tommy now?
That's... What was the last big quote we heard from Robert Kraft about Tom Brady? Tom tells me he wants to play into his middle 40s, right? So we're saying 4 or 5 more years.
Right.
And at that point, he said, in Tommy I trust. Right?
Correct.
If Tommy tells me that, I'm going to believe it, right?
Right.
So now what's he saying? That he doesn't believe it anymore? Has he sold out on Tom Brady?
I think the thing is what you and I know and coaches know is that when it goes quick. See, I think Mr. Kraft think it's going to be like a gradual decline. Okay, he threw for 4,200 yards this past season. Okay, he'll throw for 3,900, 35. He think it's like a gradual skip, like tick, tick, tick. No, like when great, it's just like boom. One day it's like it's over.
Okay, so now you have forced me to put back in perspective what we just saw Tommy Brady do this past season. Mm-hmm. He won the regular season NFL MVP. Am I right?
Yes.
And his offense, which has limited star power and firepower, weapon power, it had the most yards in the National Football League and scored the second most points. And that's mostly because of Tommy Brady, the MVP. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
There was no Julian Edelman all year, his go-to receiver of the year before, right?
Yep.
Still, most yards gained in the NFL was by Tommy Brady's offense. Then we come up to the AFC Championship game week, and here comes Saxonville. And I'm pretty sure you thought at that point they just might have the best defense in pro football,
yes,
right? At least the best on the verge defense. It looked like they had arrived to me.
Yes.
And what happens? Was that on Wednesday, I believe? Maybe Wednesday? Tom Brady in practice or somewhere, I don't know what it was. I'll give you that. It seemed a little suspicious how he did it, but it did happen because we saw video evidence in Tom versus Time, episode 6.
Correct.
And he suffered a deep gash. It looked to me like a deep gash that required, according to him, 12 stitches, but a deep gash at the base of his thumb on his throwing hand. And Tom Brady said in Tom versus Time that there was a day and a night when he didn't think he could play. Mm-hmm. So that's how serious that was, leading up to a game in which late in the first half, he lost Rob Gronkowski, right, against Jacksonville. So he doesn't have Rob Gronkowski for the second half of that game, and they fall behind 20-10 early in the fourth quarter. And then what happened? Tom Brady happened, like classic Brady. MVP happened. In the fourth quarter, Brady goes 9 of 14 for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and throws 2 big touchdown passes to little Danny Amendola of 9 yards and 4 yards to win the football game. It was another classic Brady comeback against what everybody acknowledged was the new best defense in pro football. Well, did you see any sign of decay in his game or any sign of losing it or age? Or I didn't see any. I'm sorry, I didn't see a hint of it.
Skip, do you remember in 2015, Peyton Manning threw for like 4,700 yards, had 39 touchdowns and 15 INTs.
In the Super Bowl year?
No, the year before. And then the year they won the Super Bowl, remember he played okay, but then he kind of got nicked.
No, I saw age creeping in. I saw body breaking
But
down.
did you see the year before? He went 39 and 15 with over 4,500 yards. And the next year, he stepped off a cliff.
Okay, but do you think he took care of his body as much as Tom Brady takes care of his? Because I don't think he did.
Well, I think obviously he didn't have, Tom had the knee injury and Peyton had the neck injury. And I think the nerves, as you get older, and obviously that tricep wasn't firing like it should have been.
Okay.
But, Skip, for me, is that, and I'll give you this, it sounds like this is somewhat of a concession that Mr. Kraft might be saying, Bill, you were right. Maybe we should have looked at this through a different lens, or maybe we should have just paid both of those guys for one more year. But I don't know if Jimmy would have been accepting of that, Skip, because, like he said, he was ready to branch out on his own.
No, I mean, you got to fish or cut bait.
Right.
You got to go forward with him and give him his money or not. You can't fit them both under the cap.
Right.
It would just wreck your chances of building a football team. I don't see how you could have done it. Now, to finish last year for Tom Brady. So then he goes on to the Super Bowl, and what happened early in the Super Bowl? He loses his new go-to wideout, Brandon Cooks. He didn't play for much of the Super Bowl. And Tom Brady threw for a playoff game record, not a Super Bowl, a playoff game record of 505 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Obviously, Brandon Graham made a great play and knocked the ball out of Brady's hands at a crucial moment late in the game when they had a chance to go and march down the field as he always does and come back and win another game. But I'm going to remind you, 505 yards. And he's throwing to little Danny Amendola and to Chris Hogan, both of them, once upon a time, undrafted coming out of their respective colleges. Undrafted. And he threw for 152 to Amendola and 128 to Chris Hogan. That's like extraordinary what he's doing with guys who barely made it in the league in the beginning.
Yeah, I know, Chris, Skip, but here's the thing. You do remember that the year before, Chris Hogan set a Pats playoff record for the most receiving yards in a game. Danny Amendola was the guy that Tom Brady felt most comfortable to in crunch situations this year. Remember the Jacksonville game? Those last 2 touchdowns went to that guy. And let's not forget that 6'7.5" monster called Rob Gronkowski, who's the most dominating offensive presence that's not a quarterback in the NFL. Let's not forget him, because there is no answer. So I will give you that. But I think Coach Belichick was willing to prepare and cut bait a year early as opposed to a year too late, because there's no guarantee we're going to find the next Jimmy Garoppolo or the guy that we feel can bridge the gap between Tom Brady and us moving forward in this draft or the following draft. So Coach Belichick's like, I want to go ahead and prepare now. I'm not going to put the roof on the house when it starts to rain. You need to have it up before that point. And it seems like Mr. Kraft was like, we were good, Bill. He's playing good. He looks good. But Coach Belichick says in blink of an eye, this thing can happen.
Okay. Did you see last year, after we summed up everything Tom Brady did in his MVP season, in his record-setting Super Bowl, did you see him even stick one toe over the edge of the cliff?
There were some games in which he didn't play. You thought he played well in the first half against Jacksonville.
Well, again, they weren't out of the game, and then when it was time, I mean, that's a really, really talented defense. Saxonville with 2 not good corners, that's the best corner tandem in pro football.
For the first 2.5 quarters of Atlanta, how did he look? See, and the thing is, and here's just what you got to be careful of. If you just look at the end results, you'll be blinded. Because you can't tell me for the first 2.5 quarters against Atlanta, Tom Brady looked great.
Nope. And then what happened? Is it a 4-quarter game?
See?
Is it a 4-quarter game? And to your point about the monster who is Gronkowski, remember, against Saxonville, second half, he has no Rob Gronkowski. How did he do that? Because that was another classic Brady comeback. Wow.
Brady is great. Amendola played well. I think it had more to do with Jacksonville. They got careless. They took their foot off the gas. They're like, okay, we're going to try not to lose the game as opposed to going and winning the game, because there are some things that they could have done, I think, that could have helped them win that ball game. But let's talk about this Gronk situation. I don't believe Rob Gronkowski's value will be any higher than what it is right now, because this is what everybody else knows. Rob Gronkowski's healthy. During the season, Skip, because he plays a physical game, which is the game of professional football, and the type of player that he is, he does not avoid contact. He's going to get nicked. The question is it nicked? He missed the rest of that game? Does he miss one game, or does he miss 8 to the rest of the season game?
He's had about 15 different injuries.
Exactly.
Yep.
So could I see Coach Belichick parting ways with Rob Gronkowski? Absolutely, because he's wavering. Do I want to play? Do I not want to play? And his injury history. I believe Rob Gronkowski, and all when it's the truth behind this, Skip, he wants a new deal. $9 million is not nearly enough for Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
And he deserves more. He deserves Antonio Brown, Julio Jones type money. So if you tear that contract up, you give him $30 million guaranteed over the first 2 years.
Yep.
Rob Gronkowski will start waffling and say, I'll hold off on Hollywood.
So, Shannon Sharp, rooting against Tom Brady, would love to see Gronkowski go to Hollywood, right?
No!
Anywhere but back to Foxborough.
Skip.
You know what? You share this with Coach Belichick. I'm convinced he would love to sort of very quietly undercut Brady's chances.
Oh, by getting rid of all of his weapons, huh?
Yeah. Get rid of that big monster, right? You got to trade him a year before you should.
Yeah!
Right? Yeah. I got to tell you, I thought it was sabotagey that he gave away Brissett and then definitely Garoppolo. And then I didn't even mention in said Super Bowl, Malcolm Butler stands on the sideline for the whole game.
He was sick.
He was
under the
sick.
weather.
He was sick and tired of Bill Belichick, and now he's gone.
He was under the weather.
Yeah.
Remember Malcolm said that he was under the weather early in the week.
Yeah.
So Coach Belichick, they wanted to get sick.
Well, this thing is starting to feel like a full-blown mess here.
Yeah, it
where
does.
Robert Kraft is choking, trying to balance the two egos, and reportedly they have had their little meeting, their session, but One of the New England reporters reported it didn't go all that well, that they're still not on the same page exactly, which is no surprise to me.
You know, last time, Skip, when that article came out, they released a statement that Coach, Mr. Kraft and Bill and Tommy, they're on the same page.
Yep.
Where's the statement?
No.
For this one, you know, I met with Bill and Bill met with Tommy. Where's that statement?
Okay, so my statement is that I still believe with all my heart and soul that if Tommy wants to play 4 more years,
It ain't happening.
he can play 4 more
It ain't
years.
happening.
Well, you're on the record. One
Yeah.
more max, right?
I give him 20. I'm gonna be kind. I feel like being kind today. It's Easter. Coming up on Easter.
You'll give him what?
Give him 2 years max, possibly
Yeah,
1.
That's a big leap.
20.
1 year.
He's trying to get 20 years with one team.
Yeah.
He's trying to outlast Coach Belichick. But I talked to Coach Belichick, said don't let it happen.
Well, to me, at the rate they're going, I don't believe Tom Brady's body is going to betray him. I think he thinks his owner and coach might betray him. So the only reason he would quit, to me, prematurely, is because he's not happy anymore. Like, this used to be a happy place for him. He always talked about how happy it was to go to work and go to the locker room.
Watch tape.
Yeah. And obviously the owner's FaceTiming you. Tommy,
Yeah.
how's that cut on your thumb?
Where they do that at?
Yeah.
Well, I want you to know, Skip, I had a gash up under my chin. My aunt got some horsehair and some and spider webs and stuffed it up in there, and I was good to go.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she FaceTime you?
No, it was FaceTime. We had the rotary phone back then.
Yeah,
you see that stuff right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Horsehair and cobwebs.
Yeah.
Stop that bleeding just like that.
I wonder if this could ever get to the point that Tommy went to Mr. Kraft and said, you know what, I'd like to finish my career elsewhere. Wonder if it would come to
No.
that. It could.
I can't see it.
A lot of egos involved here.
Yeah.
You know, the more successful a man is, or I shouldn't say man, the more successful a person is, the more pride.
You didn't want to pin this situation to male egos?
Yeah. The more successful, Skip, the more pride that's involved, be it male or female.
Yeah.
Wow. Skip has a big problem with what his man Kevin Durant did last night.
The best player in the NBA?
Yep, the
We'll
best.
discuss that next.